he is currently a progressive hero darling and is expected to flip the seat. Like that, this is really who they're putting all of their progressives are putting all their chips behind.
Except what?
Except this week, a cache of his deleted Reddit posts have surfaced.
No.
Okay.
This can't be good. Can't be good.
Welcome to Rivera and Reeves, a podcast where we break through the bias, report the news, and occasionally trip over our soapboxes while ranting about the headlines.
Every week, we tackle the biggest stories with sharp analysis, unfiltered honesty, and just enough sarcasm to keep it fun.
So pull up a chair, grab your coffee, and join us as we wade through the spin because the media is trash and we have zero patience for their nonsense. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Rivera and Reeves. I'm Mercedes and I'm here with my friend Rachel. Say hello, Rachel.
Hello, Rachel.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
You look nice today.
I washed my hair.
Oh,
So-
congratulations.
I know. When you're a mother of 4 or just a person living in 2025, I feel like it is a real win when you prioritize hair care.
Absolutely. I had a little bit of a runaround this morning. I didn't even think I was going to get here on time, but
but
I am
no.
here.
Tell the people why you could have possibly been late. What was so important, Mercedes, that could have made you late to our podcast?
Your tone is making me feel like you are judging me.
I am.
Okay, so are you familiar with Azure Standard?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with Azure Standard, it is an online grocery store that is, you can buy in bulk, organic, everything like that. And there is somebody in your town that coordinates the delivery, and this massive truck comes at the most inconvenient time of the day where everybody goes, meets, unloads the truck, gets their stuff, and goes home. Well, my truck was arriving at 11:15. And it's like about a 25 minute drive away. I didn't think I was gonna be able to pick it up. I was gonna try and get the coordinator to hold my stuff until I can go and pick it up. And then I remember that I ordered like 5 pounds of European butter.
What's the brand?
Could not sit in of European salted butter. Okay. It's like the best butter. Okay.
What's it called again?
It's I forget the brand. It's a European salted butter. It starts with R, Romano or something that RUMA.
Okay.
I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
That sounds
The
like
point
fun,
is-
though. It sounds like fun.
Well, I couldn't leave, and she was like, "I can hold it on. I can hold it for you, but it's going to sit in the trunk of my car because I can't go straight home." And I'm like, "Well, I can't have."
Well, how
my
much do you pay for 5? How much is 5 pounds of butter?
I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but I do know that I did a price comparison to buying at the store.
Right.
And this is like, I'm not spending more, but I'm getting better butter.
Okay,
Better
so
butter.
like if Kerrygold, which is what our family uses because the girls are obsessed, if Kerrygold is like
I would buy from here.
So like the Kerrygold's here and this is like gold standard up here, or is it like
I would
comparable?
say it's definitely comparable, and I think you're getting a better price for it if I remember correctly, because I did all of this math I don't know, like 6 months ago or something like that.
All right.
So,
Well, heard it here. She cares more about her butter than being on time for our podcast.
Hey,
We could have
got
even
here on
potentially-
time though.
But if it was between the butter and recording.
I would have been late. Absolutely.
But butter's important. Let's just be honest. If it was
no
cheese,
doubt.
I would be like, oh, we're going to have to record tomorrow. Bye. It's fine.
So before I get into today's episode, if this is your first time here, welcome. You have found your new favorite podcast. Make sure you hit that follow button wherever you're listening. We're on all major podcasting apps and also on YouTube the day after. Okay. Why does that matter? Because if you consider becoming a paying supporter, there's a link in the show notes. You will get this audio ad-free a day early, plus community and bonus episodes. So do your thing.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? Right.
Why would you not? All right. What are we talking about today? I am giving Rachel an update, kind of like a rundown, because I sent her this. I actually pulled this outline together kind of last minute, sent it to her last minute. So this is going to be like a storytelling session, storytelling reaction. All right. So what are we going to talk about today?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
Literally.
There seems to be a recent uptick when it comes to Nazis, okay? Just Nazi debate, Nazi relation, Nazi sympathizing. And a new player has entered the chat. And his name is Graham Platner. I'm trying to it's Platner. Okay. He is a 41-year-old Marine combat veteran and oyster farmer that is running for U.S. Senate in Maine.
Oysters.
I know, calm
Oysters.
down. I know you were going to get
Sorry.
excited. I mean, if he was also did vodka martinis, she would be like, hello.
And if he was a Republican, it would be best.
He is not. He is a Democrat, and he's running in the primary he's running for the Democrat primary, and the current senator of the state of Maine is Susan Collins, who is a Republican.
Kind
of Republican.
Sort of. Like a Lisa Murkowski Republican.
Correct.
Right?
Now, word on the street is that Janet Mills, the governor of Maine, who her term has coming up and she is extended her term, or not extended, but she's met her term limits, will be entering the race. She hasn't officially announced, but she'll be entering the race, which means that she'll be up against Platner. So ever since that little rumor has started, all of these little goodies have started to make their way into the news outlets. Now, to give you a little bit more information, Platner so far has raised over $4 million. Grassroots. He has a Bernie Sanders endorsement. He is currently a progressive hero darling and is expected to flip the seat. This is really who they're putting all of their progressives are putting all their chips behind.
Except
this week, a cache of his deleted Reddit posts have surfaced. No. Okay.
This can't be good. Can't be good.
Reddit's never a good place to go into.
Reddit, Signal, apparently. I mean, none of them are good. Don't be in those spaces.
Wise. But so these posts range from 2013 to 2021. So not too long ago when we're talking about especially the ones in 2021.
Right.
Now, the Reddit was an anti-work Reddit, which is a communist Reddit, socialist, communist. It's the point being is that they're anti-work. Some of the comments he has is that
anti-work. Hold on. What is anti-work? What does that even mean?
So the Reddit anti-work is this idea of they don't feel like they should have to work for it's anti-capitalist ultimately is what it is.
Nobody really feels like they have or they should have
to.
But
the anti-capitalist mentality of I don't want to work for my entire life, and I want to go and do art and just have my needs met and all that kind of stuff. Okay. That's kind of the vibe. All right.
So unrealistic people. I see.
Unrealistic people. Yeah. And I think but in that thread, when for example, somebody said, usually when people get older, they become more conservative. And he replied, I got older and became more of a communist. He also described himself as a vegetable growing, psychedelic taking socialist. And then he said, after the war, I pretty much stopped believing in any of the patriotic nonsense. Now, reminder, he was a Marine. He served in, I believe, Fallujah, if I'm not mistaken, as a machine gunman. So he saw some pretty violent
so he's
action.
Basically like Mamdani, but with some military service.
I think so. I mean, he's definitely progressive because as we go on, but
he said he was a communist and a socialist and a psychedelic lover, by the way, drug user. The same.
But he's also said that cops are bastards when replying to
Mamdani.
Yes. And then also he said, F these cops. He also, in regards to Trump voters in rural white America, this is a quote, living in white rural America, I'm afraid to tell you they actually are racist and stupid. And then
he's perfect for Maine. Gosh.
In addition to that, these were all around 2020, 2021 era.
I mean, 4 years ago, I can remember meals I had and outfits I wore. This is not that far in the past. It's not he's really completely reformed.
But
no, but 4 years is not.
It's not a huge span of time.
No.
In 2013, which was, I think, maybe a year after he got out of the military, he was in another thread where he dismissed sexual assault reports. And he basically made comments that was very victim blaming, basically saying maybe women shouldn't shouldn't get drunk and put themselves in vulnerable positions. That they're,
I agree with that, but that doesn't was there a specific case?
Well, no, the point being is that I'm setting up, you're looking at it from your mindset. I am setting it up from the progressive mindset. Okay.
Yeah, he's saying all the wrong things for him to be a shining beacon of hope for the Democrat Party that is currently flailing. Is that what you're saying?
pretty much. But
Yeah.
so
Did it get worse? Did it get worse?
Whoa.
Please tell me.
It's going. I'm just like skimming the cream, like just the top. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So then these comments come out, right?
Mhm.
And mind you, he had deleted all of this before he started to run for Senate. So somebody knew about it.
He knew it was there.
He knew
right.
correct. He knew it was there. Somebody knew about it, and they leaked it to CNN, the K Files, and then the K Files went and dug it up and is the one who initially reported on it.
Okay.
So once it came out, I have a little. He did like a 4.5-minute video apologizing. Obviously, I'm not going to subject you to the entire 4 minutes, but here we got a little segment.
Hey all, it's Graham here. As you've probably seen, there's a story that's broken about comments I made on Reddit in an earlier part of my life. As I read through them, I read things that I absolutely do not agree with. When I got back from Afghanistan in 2011, I stayed in the Army for another year. I got out in 2012. Some of the worst comments I made, the things that I think are least defensible, that I wouldn't even try to defend, come from that time. The infantry was a very male-dominated place. It's a very masculine world. When I was in, women weren't allowed in the infantry. It left me feeling very unmoored. It left me feeling very disillusioned, very alienated, and very isolated. And I think like a lot of people, I went on the internet to post stupid things and get in fights and find some form of community in some way, some outlet for my feelings, for my rage, for my isolation. I'm sorry for this. Just know that it's not reflective at all of who I am. I don't want you to judge me on the dumbest thing I ever wrote on the internet. I would prefer if people could judge me on the person I am today.
Okay, so no, he is blaming the military. If I needed to explain that to anybody else, first of all, the military doesn't make you go on the internet and say many things over a 10-year time span. Also, he tried at the beginning to kind of say that the worst of it was at the earliest part, that's just
because this ranges from 2012 to 2022 almost,
right,
like early into 2022. So
right. No, sorry, it's not. And you didn't just say like one or two stupid things. You categorized yourselves as all of the things that you've already explained, which should disqualify you from political office in America because we're not communist, we're not socialist. You probably think that many of the people that you're dealing with when you're going to be in Congress are stupid because they come from middle America and they're Republicans, and you're dismissing, accusations of whatever, physical violence. I mean, this shouldn't even have to be said. And also with the whole conversation going around about Jay Jones and then
we're going to get into that.
The lefty outrage over the young Republicans text threat. Anyway, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Save that because I haven't even touched the worst of it. You really have not seen this story yet?
Listen, I could multitask to a degree, but I had a child that needed help in algebra and a child I'm trying to get to eat vegetables. We're in a phase. And then a kitty litter, a house that needed to be clean, a cat that barfed. I mean, I'm trying. I'm just trying to stay
I'm not
afloat.
Judging you. I just want to make sure that you're not pulling my chain.
I can't believe I missed it. I mean, I can't believe I missed it.
It's only going to get better. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the same
Did this all happen in the last 24 hours?
This has literally happened in the last 48 hours or so, let's say.
Okay. I did find a good television show and I watched an episode. So that's where the time went.
That's where your time went. Okay. So the same week that those Reddit posts come out, right? Mm-hmm. Another story of Platner emerges.
Oh, no.
That he has a skull and crossbones. He describes it as a skull and crossbones tattoo on his chest that closely resembles. A minute.
I know what it is.
Hold on. I'm going to air quote that closely resembles the Nazi Totenkopf, which is the death head symbol used by Hitler's SS, specifically the unit that guarded the concentration camps.
Wait, now, when did he get this?
Tell me everything. You are just way too excited. You need to calm down. Okay.
I mean, this is something.
So he claims that he got the tattoo in 2017. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and share it for you because when this story started to bubble up,
Yeah.
he attempted to get ahead of it and went on the Pods Save America podcast to explain it, right?
That's going to
Now,
make it worse. That's going to make
it
it
all
worse.
starts, which I haven't included in this clip. So to set it out for you, this all first started to bubble up because a video was posted.
Mhm.
Apparently his sister-in-law, if I'm not mistaken, it
Okay.
was like a anniversary. And it was her anniversary, and apparently at their wedding, Graham Platner, okay, sang at the wedding in his skivvies, like with no shirt on.
Okay.
Wrecking ball or something like that to embarrass himself. And
Wow.
so she posted the video, and the video shows his chest bare, and you can see the tattoo. And then it was identified where someone was like, well, wait a minute, that kind of looks like what? Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like any man that strips down and sings a Miley Cyrus song at a wedding is automatically disqualified from serving in office. And I'm not even kidding. Please don't do that. Like,
Okay.
I just
I'm
don't.
glad that we're going deep here on this. Okay.
Come on. That says something.
Yes, I suppose it does. But Platner goes on the Pod Save America podcast to kind of get ahead of it. And he is reacting to the playing of that video.
Okay.
I've been told that some of your political opponents are telling reporters that that tattoo has a Nazi affiliation, and I would like to know, is that accurate? Are you a secret Nazi?
I am not a secret Nazi. Actually, if you read through my Reddit comments, I think you can pretty much figure out where I stand on Nazism,
Right.
And anti-Semitism and racism in general. I would say a lifelong opponent. We were on the 2-2 Mu. And it was my third deployment. My previous two had been to Fallujah and then Ramadi, 2006. And we went ashore in Split, Croatia, myself and a few of the other machine gun squad leaders. And we got very inebriated. And we did what Marines on liberty do, and we decided to go get a tattoo. And we went to a tattoo parlor in Split, Croatia, and we chose a terrifying looking skull and crossbones off the wall because we were Marines, and skulls and crossbones are a pretty standard military thing. And we got those tattoos, and then we all moved on with our lives.
So that's his
Do you want me to
explanation
comment on that?
for the tattoo.
Just
I have an image here of this is a post where it has his, and then the image next to it is what's this is supposed to represent. Now, mind you, I just want to remind you that when Pete Hegseth had
That
the
was my
Jerusalem
first thought.
cross,
Mhm.
where everybody was saying was a Nazi symbol, now they're just kind of like, oh, you mean a literal Nazi symbol? Let's not talk about that too much.
They had that in the news cycle about Hegseth for weeks. Like weeks. And
Yeah.
also interesting too, like they really majored on his, alcohol intake with Hegseth. And this guy's like, yeah, we just got bleep-faced and went and got tattoos because that's what we do. I'm like,
Well, my curiosity.
it was only 7 years ago. Is that what am I to understand it was 2017? That
2017.
was 7 years ago. I mean, these are recent things. This isn't like that's recent.
Did he say 2017?
Yes.
I have
Or-
it. No,
well-
2007. Correct. I was like, that's not right. That's not right.
Okay.
He was in Croatia in 2007, so it wasn't 2017. So it was 18 years ago. However, okay, so this is one of the things that I'm very curious about because he says I went on leave with other Marines and we got these tattoos.
Where are they? Did they all get it too?
Correct. So I'm very curious as to, is that story true? Who are the other Marines that were with him? Are they going to validate his story? Are they going to agree that maybe none of them knew? I mean, yes, is it possible that you're on leave in a foreign country and you're, a drunk Marine that just goes and picks something? I don't know about you. You might be you might be knowledgeable about it, but if I saw that, I wouldn't have any immediate knowledge of what that represents. Like if I were to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I could definitely give him the benefit of the doubt for the tattoo.
Yeah.
But
so,
I don't love the way I don't like the way he's categorizing it though. I have people I know, friends that are Marines, and not all of them just sit around and get drunk all the time. Like he makes it sound like this is just par for the course. We serve, we shoot machine guns, and then we just go get like blackout drunk and tattoo our bodies. That's what Marines do. No big deal. And I'm like, well, okay.
Like
I
he's
hate that I
really
have to care
leaning
about this.
into I had
Well, it was the military.
PTSD.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
military's fault for everything.
So
And he also made sure to point out in that first video, it's the machismo, it's the all men, no women. The military's bad because it's a warrior hero complex. Hegseth's the worst. It's, I don't know. It's so predictable. And I do not like that we have to care about this.
no. Well, so he claims that he didn't even know, or he hasn't known for the last 18 years what it was, right?
Did he never get curious? Like, you
Well,
have a
okay.
big tattoo right here. Why didn't you ever just think about finding out maybe what it was?
Well, okay. So there was a report that came out in the, I think it was Jewish Insider. And now there's an attack of, it's this one report, it's a Zionist publication. And I'm talking about, this is how the progressive left is framing it. And it was an anonymous source, but it says that a former acquaintance told the Jewish Insider that Platner was at a DC bar in 2012 and that he took his shirt off and he specifically pointed to the tattoo and called it his Totenkopf or am I pronouncing that correct?
Totenkopf. I thought it was T-O, maybe.
In a kind of cutesy, jokey way, this is my Totenkopf.
So he's drunk again at a bar. And he's taking
this
his
was
clothes
13
off,
years ago.
Just like at the Miley Cyrus wedding show and dance.
And this is why he was at GW on he was going to GW on a GI Bill.
Okay.
Now, also, it should be worth mentioning that his political director resigned once the Reddit texts or Reddit messages came out. And then he went on to the podcast, tried to get ahead of it. And she decided that she was not having it, was not happy. And she posted on Facebook publicly saying he is not an idiot. He's a military history buff. Maybe he didn't know it when he got it, but he got it years ago and he should have had it covered up because he knows dang well what it means. And so she resigned. And that was what she posted publicly. I was just going to say,
there's only two reasons she would resign. Either she knows they're going to lose, or she knows that this guy is not what he's saying he is. And probably it's because she knows he's not what he's saying he is. So
it's actually interesting that you say that because I was watching today the podcast Raging Moderates with Jessica Tarloff. And she had on Dan Froome, I think, from The Atlantic.
Oh, David Froome.
Yeah, David Froome. Thank you. And they specifically were talking about this because he was like, so right now, if you go on X, there is a whole bunch of progressives that are defending him. They're saying, he was in the military, he had PTSD, he's a good guy, we need to be forgiving. And all of a sudden, the progressives need to be forgiving. Remember, before
none of them were for Hegseth. He was in the military.
Well,
they said he had a Nazi tattoo.
Anything.
Yeah. I don't. Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
So
I don't even know why I bring that up, obviously.
Yeah. They need to be forgiving. And he's pointing out that he would, when I say he, I'm talking about Froome. He said during the podcast, he was like, look, I might be more willing to listen to his story and be forgiving of him if he had gotten ahead of this. Obama put out an autobiography before he ran and put everything out. Even Bush, when he had his alcoholism and things like that, he put everything out ahead of time. He tried to get ahead of it. Yep. Correct. Versus this guy was deleting his Reddit posts and then just conveniently forgot to either had no idea that the tattoo that he had was a Nazi tattoo or just kind of conveniently hoped that he would never have to be I have seen this dude's chest more times in the last 24 hours than I care to see any potential Senate Democrat ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Yucky. Which unfortunately we're all going to have to look at in a moment together.
Now
okay?
Now I'm nervous to even go back on Twitter. I'm going to see his man
boobies.
I don't want to.
Well, he then, after all of this, so he so far has apologized for his Reddit post. He's tried to explain the tattoo. And honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, I would be more forgiving of the tattoo because of the story than the Reddit post and the politics of the Reddit post. And I
Right. Like
will
if he
share.
just said, if he had said and was honest and said, I didn't know, I was drunk, I didn't know what I was getting. It was 18 years ago. It was a stupid move. I regret it. I've even thought about getting it lasered off or whatever. Okay. Like that's fine. Whatever. But the Reddit posts are like, you not only said the things, but then you deleted the things because you know
Correct.
that what you said, and it was not that long ago.
So yesterday, I saw this morning that he did an interview with the local news last night where he announced
Mhm.
a cover up of the tattoo.
Did he
And
show it? Did he
he
have to go
showed
do
it.
that?
I saw his little
Uh-uh.
man boobie. I don't have the
I
video, so
just
you're lucky you got saved from it. But it's like this
Mhm.
weird, like wolf tribe. It's hideous. It literally looks like he was desperate to get it covered up, and so he's like, let's just do this, and
Mhm.
hopefully it's not that big of a deal.
Can we just talk about how this is politics in 2025 now? Like this is where we're at. That we are having to discuss these types of things because these are the candidates we're being handed. I just feel like it is nothing could be more illustrative
So I
of
I was
where we're at.
thinking about this because at the same time that this was all happening,
Mhm.
on the Republican side, there was Paul Igracia. Are you familiar with the situation with Paul Igracia?
No, I am not.
So
Please tell me
it's
about that.
it's basically ultimately kind of became nothing because of the way it was handled and resolved. So, yes, we've already talked about the Young Republican text threads, right? That was
Okay.
released
Yeah.
by Politico. So then
Mhm.
Politico gets their hands on some text messages that they leak of 30-year-old Republican Paul Igracia, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, and he was the Trump nominee for the office of special counsel. However, as soon as these
Oh, no, no, no. I heard about this. I heard like
yes.
just a brief mention. Yeah,
Well,
more
because as
Nazis.
soon
More
as they
Nazi, right?
leaked, it was more Nazi. He said something like, "I have a Nazi streak in me. I admit it." Or he said that MLK Day should be tossed into the seventh circle of hell. He also
Okay.
used some racial slurs, which I think
Yeah.
were much more problematic versus the one where he's like, "I admit it." Because like how often amongst conservatives literally joking around because you're always being blamed of being a racist. You're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm a racist, or I guess,
Yeah.
like, I guess I hate fill in the blank minority person because you're just
Yeah.
constantly being accused of it. And in the
Yeah.
context of the text thread, it's a joke.
Right.
However, even within that text thread, he was making these jokes and he was actually being called out by other people in the text thread saying, like, honestly, you really shouldn't be saying these things or
Saying
doing
that.
those
Yeah.
things. And he
Mhm.
doubled down. I mean,
Okay.
passively, but he still doubled down. So within days of these texts surfacing,
Mhm.
Republicans pushed him out. They pulled his nomination. Now, it remains to be seen whether he still holds his position as the White House liaison at the Department of I think it was Homeland Security, that he
Mhm.
actually got that position in 2025, but as soon as this stuff dropped, you had other senators which were going to have to confirm him going like, "No, that's it. We're done." And
Yeah,
they
because Republicans usually say, "Get out of my party. Stop it."
yeah.
Democrats don't. That's the
Well,
difference.
and I think that's one of the things I was thinking about before I decided to do this is, a lot of times I feel like what we're currently seeing are two sides of the same coin. Maybe I'm using that, and hopefully I'm using that analogy correctly, but they're very extreme and in different ways. So when we're talking about the situation with Trump and how Trump has restructured the Republican Party, and a lot of
Yeah.
people see him as extreme and he doesn't apologize for anything and he moves on and he does his thing. They're trying to use that same strategy, to me, the progressives are on the left. The issue for me is that just like we saw on their social issues with the
Mhm.
progressives, when we're talking about the trans issue, we're talking about race issues and police and everything, like they
Mhm.
go to the extreme. They go
Yeah.
to like abolish the police. Men need to be in women's sports. Men
Mhm.
are women if they say that. Like they go
Yeah.
to that extreme. And I feel like what could potentially be happening here with the progressives is that they're deciding like we need to win. The
Yeah.
ends justify the means no matter what. So what if you said, in fact, I probably agree with some of those Reddit posts that you said, but they're,
Mhm.
maybe they're aggressive for the moderates in Maine, but if we
Yeah.
stand behind our guy it's not going to be too big of a deal. And I feel like that's kind of like what's happening with him, with Mamdani, with these other, like, a lot of people aren't aware, but there's these other very young, very progressive candidates that are trying to move into positions of either the state legislator or representative positions. And the upcropping that is coming from the left, that is being pulled further to the left. What's interesting is that on the right, we got pulled further, even though they don't want to admit it, it got pulled further to the center.
To the center.
Than further, than further to the right, versus the
left
progressives
is running in the opposite
is like
direction.
running to the left. And they're like, we have to win. So, and a lot
We'll
of
do
the
anything.
discussions, correct. A lot of the discussions that I was seeing on X was like, you know, you guys are all trying to be purist. And if you want like a normal person, they're going to have some skeletons in their closet and we need to get over it and be, I'm just kind of like, wow, that tone really, really changed all of a sudden.
Very quickly.
But just to wrap up Plantner, that isn't the least of it, because as I was
wait, more?
Your face. Yes.
What?
Your face. You're like, wait, there's more?
This is crazy.
So this morning, as I am scanning my feeds, I find an article in my feed from, I believe I think it was a Substack article, and it's called the Robinson Report. And in this article, right here, says ex-Marine Graham Platner taught military tactics recruited for Socialist paramilitary group in Maine. And as we go down a little bit, it says this was a post in a Reddit where people were inquiring about how to join this type of group or showing interest in this type of group. And it was under the handle P Hustle. Now, he has already confirmed, because there's past handles, that is his handle. That is him. And so he says, all we do lots of range days, firearms education classes, and developing mutual aid networks in our community. I just put on a defensive handgun course 2 weeks ago, and we do monthly introduction to firearm courses for new members, as well as more advanced classes for experienced members. We have a significant amount of combat veterans and firearms instructors who have put together a solid curriculum to build proficiency among our membership. Hold on a second. So, mind you, this happened in about, I think it was like 2021. So he was or 2020. He was providing a defensive handgun course June of 2020, right after the George Floyd riots and the BLM protest.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so now these pictures that are in the article can't verify whether Graham is in any of the photos, even though the author of the article speculates that this guy under the umbrella with the red beard could be him, but all of the faces here are blurred out. Like, you can't identify anyone in this group. Now, to provide a few more details, if you're unfamiliar with the Socialist Rifle Association, this is the same group that they have like actual multiple, what do you call it? Like groups throughout the nation.
Yeah.
So there's about like 10,000 members nationwide.
Wow, that's a lot.
Remember Charlie Kirk's assassin? He was either interested or a member or followed. I believe he followed the Socialist Rifle Association of Utah. So they're seen as a far left paramilitary group. Planter was very active. He even said, we are quite active. He tried to recruit people over to the Maine group. Now, Maine passed a law in 2023 that prohibits unauthorized paramilitary training. And it's a Class D crime if firearm instruction is provided with the goal of creating unrest.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's going to look into this, but I mean, I'm all for the Second Amendment, obviously. And even socialists can like own a firearm and learn self-defense. But the question is, there's a difference between taking I would have to work through the mindset here, but I think there is a difference between taking, I don't know, like learning how to a firearm course and taking a paramilitary group.
Well, being actively training for civil unrest that you plan on participating in or provoking. Like, I think that's pretty
Well,
different.
and even in this article, like if I were to share, let me share the article again. If we go through these images, it has some shots of, like, for example, this flag here is a like communist worker flag. But if I scroll down a little bit further, there's these pamphlets. And for example, like one of the pamphlets here is talking about burner phones in the modern age and how to use a burner phone to avoid, you know,
tracking
and that sort of thing. So it's clear that it's not just like, hey, come and learn to use your handgun or your AR-15 or whatever. There seems to be a much more organized attempt here on how to
more of his chest.
More man boobies.
No, thank you. Oh my gosh. I can't unsee it now.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, so that is all of the Platner story so far. And even Bernie Sanders, he was on Axios last night, and he's like,
did they take him to task? What did he say?
No. And so he was actually with Alex Thompson, which I like.
Well, yeah, he co-wrote the book with Jake Tapper about Joe Biden.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was asked about it, and this is what he had to say.
You said yesterday you are still supporting him. Why?
I am not overly impressed by a squad of media running around saying, what do you think about the tattoo on Graham Platner's chest? Between you and me, there might be one or two more important issues. But let me go there. I'm not Graham's best friend. I met him several times. We did a rally in Portland, Maine, a great rally. I am impressed by the guy. This is a guy who will tell you, who has served 4 tours of duty with the United States military. He was in the middle of some heavy-duty combat. He was a machine gunner. That's what you do. You mow down people, you know? He went through some very difficult experiences in the military as a machine gunner, seeing his friends killed. Came out of the military. He will acknowledge, I'm not telling you what he doesn't say yet, PTSD. He went to the VA, and by the way, what he says, they rebuilt his life. All right. He went into forgiveness.
So he goes on to explain it's the same
stop
story.
Yelling at me, Bernie. Stop
I don't know why
yelling
Bernie
at me.
makes me laugh. The way he talks, his cadence, and his like,
and he takes himself 1000% seriously, which I appreciate about him. Also, he doesn't really care what you think at all.
No.
And that was evidenced by his outfit
appearance at the inauguration.
The inauguration, which will hang forever on my Christmas tree as a Christmas ornament. Okay. So they're just gonna hang their hat on it being his military service that did this. America did this to him and made him a socialist, communist, whatever, Nazi guy.
And the whole thing
predictable.
right now. So I'm like, I've been tracking this, and I've been even listening to, like, on the morning meeting, Mark Halpern, Sean, and Dan have been talking about this.
Yeah.
And right now what it is that he is grassroots progressive. And this started coming up when Janet Mills said that she was going to run. If you guys don't remember who Janet Mills is, she is governor of Maine, and she had that blowout with the president during the governor's luncheon where it was like, because she was having boys and girls sports, and she was like, well, then take me to court when Trump called her out about it. So that's Janet Mills. So she's not exactly like a wishy-washy Democrat either, but she's 70 years old, and Platner is 41, and he's progressive. And do you understand what I'm saying? So right now it's being portrayed as
it's the new guard,
the establishment Democrat
versus the organic
versus the grassroots. And that, again, the Democrats are trying to take out the little guy. This guy grew up in an affluent family, went to GW. Yes, he served in the military and experienced some horrible things, but he's not a JD Vance.
No,
do you understand what I'm saying?
It's Mom Donnie. It's Mom Donnie, different state, different skin color. He is Mom Donnie. That's all it is. And he's going to get a free pass, and he's probably going to get elected. And that's just it. And the people who are supporting that are the same people that are supporting Jay Jones. They're supporting him by not calling on him to drop out. And they're the same people mad at some texts that were colorful and inappropriate and wrong that lost a bunch of people their job because Republicans actually, I think, care
They got
about these kinds of
fired.
things, and they hold their party to account more oftentimes than not, and Democrats don't. So
Actually, speaking of, like, because Bernie said, I'm annoyed basically of being asked about this tattoo.
yeah, you shouldn't be annoyed. That's the whole point. Like, we should be asking questions about the people we're electing. That's why we're in the place we're in so many regions of our country.
Well, Abigail Spanberger was
did she get asked?
about, no, but she was asked about Jay Jones again on
Excellent.
Katie Couric. And this is actually really funny, and this is why I'm playing it.
If I'm being very honest, we are 3 weeks away from an election in Virginia. I have worked tirelessly for 2 years running for this office. I announced in November 2023. The fact that I say this with all due respect because, I think it's a fair thing for you to ask about, the fact that I have to spend even a moment's time talking about somebody else's text messages from years ago rather than what I want to do as governor is something that I am deeply unhappy about. The fact that I can't spend every minute of the day talking about the plans that I have built out, not to be too hokey about it, but like my multiple pages of plans, my affordability plan, my education plan, my growing our economy plan, because of the, poor choices of another candidate, it is something that really clouds my view of all of it. And
What?
So she's upset. She's upset that she's being.
Oh, she's not just upset. That is a bitter, angry lady.
Yes.
That's what that is. And she could spend every minute of every single interview talking about her horrible plan for my state. And she would be able to do that. But she won't be able to do that because she won't do the simplest thing, which is to say he shouldn't have sent those texts. And I think he should drop out of the race. It would have been done like weeks ago, but she refuses to do it. It's her own fault.
I've noticed there's this new strategy that is coming out from the Democrats where they're like, well, I think it's up for the state of Virginia to decide. Or I think it's up for the state of of Maine to decide. So now it's become like, we're not responsible. We're not going to overstep the right of the people to vote.
Right.
Or like, it's up to you guys to decide.
I mean, I
If
could tell you a lot of
want to
times that
vote,
everybody had to talk about every Republican that did something pervy, and then it's a national conversation. But if it's a Democrat, then it's like, let it be up to
the
that
state decide.
state.
Well, exactly. The amount of times, especially recently, like when we're talking about the text messages and everything, that anytime any Republican of any level, or even an influencer, anyone that has just the smallest bit of affiliation with conservatism or being a Republican does something wrong.
It's a national discussion.
And every Republican is asked by the media, do you denounce it? Do you
Ad
denounce it
nauseam.
over and over and over again?
Yeah.
But in this situation, it's just kind of like, let's not, I know you need to ask. It's okay that you have to ask, but I don't really want to talk about this. Or let the state decide. And it just blows my mind that, I don't know, 24 hours ago, if you used the wrong pronoun, you were immediately like not qualified if you acknowledge the fact that men can't be women. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, you hate cops and you're a communist or a socialist sympathizer and you have a Nazi tattoo?
Come on over. It's okay.
Let's not be too upset about people's past.
Well,
That's
and
just
honestly,
ridiculous.
As a person who pays attention to body language, I don't even think Katie Couric was satisfied with that answer. Even she was like, this is what politicians do. You're going to be working hand in hand with this guy. Of course, you're supposed to be answering these questions. And Katie Couric's like, then just answer the question already. You could be done. That's what I tell my kids when they're like avoiding doing something they don't want to do. I'm like, you want to know how much time we've wasted when you could have just done the thing and you'd be done with it? She should have done the thing, but she's lacks courage.
And it's, look, Jay Jones, the whole situation with Jay Jones, like, it is not getting better at all. No, because now apparently he had been caught reckless driving, like not
they said
too
up
long
to like
ago.
almost 115 miles per hour.
So he was supposed to do community service for that.
Yeah, didn't he do it in service of like a super PAC or something?
His super PAC. His
word.
PAC, okay? He was like, oh yeah, I'll do community service. I'll go and volunteer for myself and put that off as community service. So not only is he like, flippantly like, oh, let's kill my political opponent and their children, but also he's going to be attorney general, top cop of the state of Virginia. And he's like, reckless driving, community service, murdering children.
It's fine.
Pshaw.
Yeah. I know. It is actually startling, but I think because so many of these things have become very, very normal, we just talk about it like it's a joke because it is a joke to Democrats, truly. When I say to Democrats, oftentimes in my mind, I am thinking of the Democrat ruling class, like politicians,
Yes.
people who make the decisions. But the farther and farther we go along and the more and more I dialogue and listen to people talk and just say the things that are coming out of their brain, the more I'm going, no, it's a lot of rank and file, normal Democrats, a lot of just normal citizens who have imbibed all of this rhetoric, all of this belief system and this ideology for so long that now it's becoming like normal and okay with them. I had someone jump in my comments the other day when I was talking about yesterday when we were discussing, or when I was discussing and sharing about these ICE raids and how this one guy stands up with a microphone and is like, in LA, of course,
Yeah.
East LA, and he's like,
shoot.
yeah, we got
ICE.
guns too. We got guns too. No, this is another guy yesterday. Like,
Oh, okay.
you better remind ICE that they're not the
don't-
only ones with, well, and then it comes out that he's an educator. And so I'm posting this and I'm like, look, again, someone in LA saying that, don't forget, we got guns too. Come after us, ICE. And someone said to me, they're like, I just think it's really sad that you only think that violence belongs on the left when really it's proportionate for the two. And violent rhetoric is basically proportional on both sides. And I'm like, you are living in it's a different galaxy right now. And I used to think it just was reserved for politicians, but I'm seeing it more and more just average citizens thinking that things like Jay Jones running is totally fine because this is just what politicians do. Like, no, it's not.
I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot too. I do think, of course, in order for these people to get to a certain position, someone's going to have to vote for them. So there
Yes.
are going to be like who you would think are like average normal people that are going to share those ideas. The question is, and I've talked about this with my husband multiple times. I think there's like levels of people. Like there's people that are thinking that because they are being, again, we're having the issue of like the information that you're being fed, and specifically like the legacy media is not doing its job of dissecting the stories evenly across the board for both. Because obviously our, Republicans form of communication has definitely gotten more aggressive. Gone is the milquetoast communications of Mitt Romney.
We are not winsome any longer. Nobody
correct.
is.
Like I'm not
especially
even
the
gonna be,
administration.
so I'm not going to be like, oh, but for me, the distinct difference is that I do not see a single like average Republican or who
accepting, condoning, or giving a pass to violence
specifically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
that is happening more and more and more and more on the left. And I think that we're able to even talk about it a little more after the No Kings rally, just because even though everybody's saying, well, the rally was peaceful.
Yeah, but
that's fine. But that's not the point. The point is that the ability to talk about rage and violence against actual humans was so prolific through all the different protests. It's very normal and comfortable for many of the protesters to just, be interested in, fantasize about, joke about the killing of people you disagree with politically. And that you don't see it on the right. People keep going like, well, what about the Proud Boys? I'm like, what about them? Republicans hate them. Like, we disown them. We disavow them. But you don't do that on your side often enough, I should say.
Yeah, you're saying Antifa is just an idea, or like it's not that big of a deal. Actually, I think, tell that to border enforcement right now in Portland, who's getting shot at with fireworks on a nightly basis, and you have the Portland PD just like hanging out there like no big deal, actually collecting information to report. Like it's to report on Border Patrol and ICE not policing their their citizenship, like in Portland. Like, it's just wild to me. And
It is
I
wild.
don't feel like it's the same. And specifically, over the last like 24 hours, have consumed a lot of Graham Platner content. Okay.
You've seen a lot of Graham.
I've seen a lot of Graham, and I will tell you right now that he is talented.
Mhm.
He is a very clear speaker.
He is Mamdani.
Yes, he's in a different package, but he is
Yeah.
Mamdani. He
Yeah.
speaks to the concerns of people about affordability, about healthcare, about those basic needs that everybody feels like they need to have met in order to feel safe and secure. He is in a more tasteful package, especially like for Maine.
Yeah.
And I would not like, I see a lot of like when I was listening to Dan, for example, on the morning meeting, and I was listening
Yep.
to Jessica Tarloff on her podcast, like they were just all kind of like a little bit like, well, this is a really poor practice of opposition research. Like he should have disclosed this ahead of time. His team should have been aware of it ahead of time.
Yeah, they're having a problem that it was found out. They don't have a fundamental problem with his
But it's not
ideals
so
and
much
what he's
that,
running.
because they are criticizing him for what he
For
has
being
done.
a socialist and a communist.
And they think that he's not going to win, that he can't because of all this information. They're saying that the opposition or like his team dropped the ball, and his donors dropped the ball too for not correctly vetting him before putting him up.
Right.
Because the likelihood is that he cannot win because of all this baggage that he has.
When is his election? Is his election on the same day? Is it November 4th as well?
I think so. I'm not sure exactly. And he's still like, we're talking about primaries. We're not even talking about, he's not going up against Collins yet.
Okay.
So this is still Democrat primary.
If he has time, he totally can win. I don't know why they're saying no. That's what it's Mamdani 2.0. Everybody said that with Mamdani. There's no way he can win. There's no way a socialist can win. It's like, okay, well, he's going to.
And against Susan Collins, are you stinking kidding me? Susan Collins, who's like 120 years old, has been in there forever.
Exactly.
And like, absolutely. I think it is naive for people to think that the fact is that as the electorate is getting younger and more disenfranchised, they're becoming, I think there was a poll the other day about, especially the younger you are, how much more open to socialist ideas that you are.
Yeah.
So we're no longer in the same space. Like the boomers are going to start to die off. Gen X is a small generation. Like we're one of the smallest generations. If we don't get the whole culture, the messaging, and acknowledge what is going on and what the needs of the voter is, I would tell people, do not get overconfident that the Republicans are going to dominate. I think we're going to do okay for 2026. I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. And that's why I've been saying, I'm sure you've heard me say this multiple times, but I swear a Republican needs to start using the talking point about housing prices as their one of their top issues. If they don't start talking about affordability and the American dream by way of being able to purchase and own land and property, they're going to miss a whole demographic, because that is a valid concern for both men and women that are rising. They don't feel like they can afford to get married. They can't afford to have kids. And whether that's true or not, they are somehow imbibing that message, and Republicans need to hop on that just as much as they hop on national security, which they had to, and the border and fentanyl use and all these different things that actually are huge issues. So is affordability. And that's what these Mamdanis, plural, are talking about. They're hitting a felt need with these people and saying, you can't afford to even live a comfortable life. Look at all of these rich elites that are living, and you can't even afford your weekly avocado.
It's the same message that Trump used that got him to win. It's just from the other side with different policy, much, much worse.
And Vance is a great candidate for that message. They need someone needs to be telling him, I'm sure they are. They need to be telling him, you need to talk to the 20-year-olds that you're going to lose that may be energetic right now, but they get out of college and they're like, oh, dang, I can't even afford an apartment in a desirable neighborhood. So
Yeah.
That's what Mondani and this guy sound like they're doing really
well. I just think it's really
whether they're
naive.
lying or not. They're lying about how they're going to go about giving these people this free housing, this affordable housing. They're lying, but they're doing it. They're doing the thing.
Actually, did you? I saw a clip, and I didn't watch too much of it, but you're kind of bringing that up. Of Mondani did another debate last night with Cuomo.
Oh yes,
yeah, and he was asked. Like Cuomo went to town on him.
I heard Cuomo came with a fire. He came with energy, like a fire in the belly.
Is that he's like I don't know, a millennia too late.
Right. Well, and he like killed a bunch of grannies in the nursing homes. Like people don't forget that. People have COVID fatigue because a lot of governors did a lot of really, really shady things, and he was kind of chief amongst them.
I mean, Mondani did get exposed during that debate of like his socialist ideas aren't really viable ideas,
right?
Like,
right.
Cuomo
But he
really
just smiled the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I don't like. It remains to be seen. My concern is that people or Republicans, politicians are a little too comfortable in the mindset of like a socialist could never win, that they don't feel like what Cuomo felt. Like he doesn't really feel that he needed to like lay into Mondani because he didn't take him seriously. And I think that was a huge mistake. And I think the same situation could potentially happen with this guy up in Maine. And you just need a little bit of a snowball to start to build. And we're dealing with like, what is that?
And if Democrats... if Democrats see that Mondani can win relatively easily, and this guy, look, if these guys can get elected, especially this guy with his track record and all the things he's done, and he can still win, they're going to use it as a playbook, obviously. Like, why wouldn't they? It's too easy.
Well, and it doesn't help that Chuck Schumer's like on the quiet, but he's against him, and he's for Janet Mills, who's like 70 years old. Like this is not
talk
a
about
good situation.
kings, like the no kings. Talk about kings. All of these congressional members who are all 80 years old, still in there. They're the real kings. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean it's wild. So okay, I want to go ahead and wrap us up with one last clip.
Excellent.
Which
wait, is it going to make me laugh or just be more sad at the state of our country?
I think it's going to annoy you more, but we get to like criticize someone that's fun to criticize.
Oh,
Okay. So did you see Jen Psaki on the I've Had It podcast with those two bitter middle age? Well, I should say they're older than us. I hope they're older than us because they look older than us.
Because I got enough of Psaki during the Biden administration. I avoid
her,
kind of.
She went on the podcast and she had some words to say about JD Vance and Usha Vance.
What?
Yeah.
Not Usha.
I was like, you get that out of your mouth.
You stay away from Usha.
You stay away from Usha. Okay, but let's see what she has to say. Okay.
I think the little Manchurian candidate, JD Vance, wants to be president more than anything else.
Yeah.
I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife. Like, are you okay? Please blink 4 times.
Yes.
We'll come over here. We'll save you. And that he's willing to do anything to get there. And that your whole iteration you just outlined, I mean, he's scarier in certain ways.
He's smarter.
In some ways. And he's young.
Yeah. And ambitious.
And agile in the sense that he is a chameleon who makes himself into whatever he thinks the audience wants to hear from him. Now, what's also true, though, is JD Vance is not, he's in some ways goodish on paper if you like what he believes in. I don't know. But I don't know that he can take the whole movement with him.
No way.
I don't think so either.
There's no riz.
It's got no riz, right? And he just is a little odd. And so Trump's odd in a different way. So I'm skeptical of that. So yeah, he's got to, I mean, everything going on right now, and I think we have to be very clear-eyed about this, is about trying to manipulate the public around elections. And
there's a lot there, right?
I don't know where to start. First of all, you're saying he doesn't have riz, but you use the word riz and you're like 50. Stop that. Number one. Number two,
in case our listeners are unaware, riz is Gen Z talk for charisma. Okay.
Yeah. So you're 50.
Which is embarrassing
Stop
that I know that and that she used it.
Okay, stop. It's bad enough that we have people in the White House saying your mom. Okay, I have a big enough problem with that. Okay,
You do
but
not.
at least it's well placed. Okay, when Republicans try and be funny, they are. When the Democrats are trying to be funny and relevant, they aren't. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. The second thing is that's really gross to talk about Usha Vance like that because she is a demure, quiet, gentle personality. To act like Vance is some big scary monster who's manipulating her, abusing her, because that's what they're winking at. It's just
absolutely.
It's so gross. It just for every time I hear one of these interviews from anybody on the left, it just rings so disingenuous because they just hate all of it. And they don't know why. It's just because it's Trump. They just hate it. They have such disdain. It's like dripping off of them. And if you have a good reason for disliking something, which I feel like we do with Democrats, we have genuine reasons why we dislike the movement, the policies, and we detail them with data and information and examples. But there's no substance to what they're saying. They're just like, I don't like Vance.
He's creepy. He gives me a
creepy.
vibe.
I guess he's okay on paper if you like that stuff. Can't even define what that stuff is. Also, they say he's not going to be able to carry a movement. Do you want to know how many people I have heard from who are like, Vance, 2028? Because he does kind of, he's so much of what old guard Republicans, I feel like, kind of identify with, where he rose from nothing and kind of made his way. Whatever you think of his backstory, it's pretty remarkable that a kid who had an abusive mom and no dad around was raised by his meemaw and on Gatorade or whatever it is for his whole life, made it into an elite college, served his military, is now the vice president of the United States, and is relatively young and funny and smart
and relatable and happily married with a family.
They don't like it. It's just everything that they don't like because it's the other team. And there's no real fundamental thing you don't like about him. It's just that he's in the Trump administration. And this is what so many of these interviews are like. And so they're pointless to me because you're not saying anything original or substantial.
Well, what stood out to me is like not only the attack on their marriage, which is like, of course, you have a table. Like you have 3 liberal women there who immediately decide that because they don't approve of the politics of her, like she could not possibly ever share the same ideas or principle as her husband, because that would be against her own interests. So therefore, she must be under some kind of threat or like she needs to wink at us. Like she needs our help because we, as the liberal women,
know better. We know women.
We know women better. And we must come to the rescue. So there's that one, which like irritates me to no end, especially as a conservative female that is not exactly a wallflower. Like it's really something that irritates me. But what I also thought was interesting was like, he's almost scarier than Trump. Dude,
brother.
Look, they're saying that because of he is the heir apparent currently. Obviously, it could be Rubio, it could be somebody else. Anything can change. But as of right now, he is the heir apparent. He is the vice president. He was in Israel. Like, it's his next. And I think of every past election that I have lived through. And every time they're like, Mitt Romney's worse than Bush.
Yep.
John McCain is worse, but like it's always like the next one over is going to be worse than their predecessor. And they're already setting it up. Trump is Hitler. Okay.
Yeah.
Trump is a fascist dictator who's basically Hitler, Timu Hitler, according to Jasmine Crockett. But JD Vance, he's scarier and he can be worse because he's smarter. It is never going to end. It's always going to be worse.
And it will always be somebody attached to Trump. Like even if Marco Rubio, who is clearly much more demure, if you want a word, or subtle, a little more reserved than both of them, obviously. Even if he makes it in office, it's going to be like, well, he had a budding career when he was in the Senate, but then he sold out and became the State Department and probably did a whole bunch of awful things because he was in line with Trump. They're going to hate no matter what. They're going to hate everything. They're going to hate if none of them run. And it's a whole new crop of Republicans. Honestly, as I'm watching that, you know what I was thinking of also is these women have spent their entire lives, careers, every last waking hour talking about feminism and supporting women and women's rights.
One way.
And well, yeah, because you couldn't possibly have a female who's like, yeah, I love conservatism and I love a strong man and who wants to lead our family in the country. Give me that. And they would have said the exact same thing they probably did about Charlie Kirk. And then look, Erica comes along and she's like, you think that my husband was conservative? Well,
dun, dun,
I've got news for you. So it's just, like I said, it's all disingenuous. It's boring to me. It's boring, predictable and boring.
All right. Well, I thought this was funny. So Bernie Sanders has a book out.
Is he yelling in the book?
Well,
Is it
no,
all
he's
caps?
not yelling in the book. But the book is basically, I think it's like Fight the Oligarchy. And it's brand new, which is one of the things
whole,
he's doing. This supercut, before we dip out of this episode, is Bernie Sanders going back to 1983.
Okay.
This great country of ours is moving very rapidly in the direction of oligarchy. The United States of America today is increasingly becoming an oligarchy. More and more moving toward an oligarchy. We are moving in the direction of oligarchy. We will move even more rapidly in the direction of an oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. It is called oligarchy, and that is the system we are rapidly moving toward. This is a budget that moves our country rapidly into the direction of oligarchy. A handful of billionaires are moving this entire planet toward an oligarchic society.
Start off with the bad news, which is pretty bad, and that is that under Donald Trump, this country is hurtling rapidly toward oligarchy.
We have been hurtling since 1993.
Yes,
we have been hurtling towards oligarchy since I was 13 years old. I am 45. So that's a lot of hurtling.
I just thought that was funny. So that was from the account Maze, who did that supercut on X, which I thought was just so good and so genius. I was and he sounds
the same, 100%.
He's 80 years old now, and what was he in his 60s or something like that?
In 1983. So that was 32 years ago.
No, it was 93. It was 93.
Okay, so 93. 32 years. No, that's 32 years ago. So he looked like he was about 60 then. So
I think he was probably in his 50s or something like that then. But he's been saying that and sounding the same. Now finally, from 93 to 2025, he's finally got his book, Fight the Oligarchy.
Yeah, we're still fighting. We're still fighting. We're hurtling towards it, but we're fighting.
Hurtling fast. I don't know when we'll get there, but
not really fast though, because it's been hurtling for 33 years, but still.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up for today's episode of Rivera and Reeves. If this is your first time here, welcome. You have found your new favorite podcast. Make sure you give us a follow no matter where you're listening. We're on all major podcast apps, and we are also now on YouTube. If you are a paying supporter of Rivera and Reeves and you want to follow either one of us and join our individual Substacks, shoot us a DM or drop it in the comments, and we will share a discount link with you. This weekend, we will have out a episode of Unfiltered. We have no idea what we're talking about exactly.
We kind of have some idea. It might be a rant episode.
It could be.
If you want us to rant about something, give us some ideas. We have opinions about everything, so
all the time. Could be a therapy session. Who knows? But we'll definitely have that out this weekend is my goal. Remember, I'm doing the edits, so sometimes it's a little sketchy exactly when it comes out, but it will be coming out, and it's exclusive for paying supporters. So if you want to listen to that, please click the link in the show notes and consider joining us. All right? Anything else? Any other thoughts, concerns, opinions that I may have missed?
Always, all
the time. We'll save them for Saturday, and we'll talk about them then. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, here's a reminder, friends, that the media is trash, and we have no tolerance for it. Okay. Bye.
Bye.